And thank you so much for everyone to join this streaming. I would like to, in this presentation, I would like to talk about some of the managing challenges that we face with global teams in 2022 that could be applicable to various situations. Um, so basically, this is the summary of what will I be presenting. My main objective here is to present these challenging business cases. But before we do that, let me introduce myself, the speaker that speaks to all this audience here today. So basically, I'm Marcio Campasi. I'm 36 years old, married without kids, unless you count my hound dog. In this case, I'm a proud father of a beautiful girl. I'm 12 years working with project management. I have past experiences with game design, which was where I started my career as a game designer. And then I started to move forward with my career with product management in outsourcing, retail, software development, fidelity programs, trading, and entrepreneurship, which when I had the opportunity to discover the true meaning of the word ownership. So 7 months, and then after all this experience, I have the honor here to be on Avenue Code, in which I have 7 months working as a delivery ambassador. And I have to say that I already got involved in some very interesting situations on that regard. So I would like to present 4 interesting business cases that and show how we overcame challenging situations on that regard. And keep in mind that even if these cases sound like exceptions or something a little bit too much out of the box, there's some common threads shared by them and some lessons learned here that could be very applied to our career as consultants or managers. So, and also before I begin, I want to reinforce that I won't be disclosing any clients' names during this presentation due to NDAs. So without further ado, let's start with the first case, which I like to call the fake consultant. So here's the scenario. One of our clients came back from vacation and discovered that one of our key consultants wasn't the same. His voice was different. He stopped turning on his camera during meetings, and his performance dropped significantly. So our client contacted AC concerned by the possibility of identity thefts. So yeah, this was a very interesting one and occurred on my first month working here at Avenue Code. So yeah, we're off to a good start here. So with that in mind, what did we do? The first thing we did was contacted the C2C vendor immediately to ask them to replace this consultant, which was a case of risk transfer. If you're familiar with the PMBOK, the Project Management Book of Knowledge from PMI, you record that there's 4 ways to respond to risks: avoidance, transfer, mitigation, and acceptance. In this case, we were able to transfer the risk to our C2C partners that were able to backfill the position with a new consultant, it wasn't a deep fake, fortunately. So yeah, that was a happy ending for us. And also after that, we started to request everybody to adopt the habit of turning on their cameras during meetings. I want to stress this one because not only turning on your camera during meetings is a valuable tool to show that you are a real person to your audience, but also has the welcoming side effect of building empathy. As one of my DA's colleagues here, Ricardo Guilherme, brilliantly punctuated here in an early presentation in the career week. So that's a good side effect that you have to keep in mind on that regard. And empathy was one of the most required abilities to deal with our next case, which I like to call big media turmoils. So here's the scenario. An AC client has some serious issues regarding its new CEO that became highly publicized by the big media. Most of these problems affected directly their vendors, including our consultants that got informed about the turmoils by the news. This made them feel very frustrated and afraid of their future due to the lack of clear communication with their hiring managers. So yeah, this one was very challenging. Perhaps this is one of the biggest challenges I had in my career. And they require not only a high dose of empathy with our consultants, but also some resilience as well. So with that in mind, What did we do? Well, the first thing we did was provided daily communications in our internal forums. Every day, we posted updates in our GChat group so we can reduce the noise provoked by the news. It was a way to provide a kind of beacon to the team so they could guide about what was really going on and discern rumors from the real state of affairs. So this one is a very communication is going to be a common thread here, as you can see. So in the next one, the next thing we did was AC managers always available to answer any questions. As leaders, it's always important to be available to our managers, especially on critical situations like this one. Other thing that we did was searching for opportunities in other clients. We proactively tried to reallocate everyone inside Avenue Code when we saw in the first sign that we see the trouble ahead in the horizon. So this one was something that we needed to do ASAP, and we tried to proactively reallocate our consultants on that regard. And for finally, we try to find new ways to retain our clients. For example, we try to change contract types on some cases. So this one is a very interesting one because I want you to share with you guys that before all this turmoil began, we had a consultant that expressed desire to change his contract from FTE to independent contractor. This is something that we didn't know that we were able to do so. We were able to contact our legal team to negotiate these kind of changes. Unfortunately, we weren't able to hold him at Avenue Code, but knowing that he was flexible for this kind of change gave us the opportunity to look for new opportunities for him in the future. And luckily, having aboard in ADC again if we found another client. So this is something that we are proactively doing, even if he doesn't participate on the Avenue Code board today. So, and he loved to work with us. So we wanted we really want to bring him back. And this is something that being flexible about the things that we can do with your team can provide to you. So this is something that you have to be very open-minded, and it's a valuable tip in these cases. So yeah, this was a very intense case that taught us some valuable lessons. But okay, this one's a little bit convoluted, so let's slow down a bit and talk about a less complicated case, but not less challenging, which I like to call the Great Firewall of China. Yeah. This one is a very interesting one. Let's talk about the scenario. Two of our Chinese consultants needed to go back to their homeland and requested some PTO days to do so, or personal time offs. However, they had the risk of not coming back in time due to the zero COVID policy imposed by the Chinese government in 2022. Also, while they were in China, they couldn't access the AC's internal environment due to the Great Firewall of China. Because keep in mind, 90% of the Avenue Code's working tools are Google related, therefore forbidden in China, which imposed a big challenge for our consultants. So, what did we do? The first thing we did was align the exceptions with our legal department. So we could guarantee that our consultants could be allocated on the bench when they come back, or reallocated to new clients if they take a long time to come back. It was a real risk that we needed to mitigate in that regard. So another strategy from the PM bot that we needed to apply here. Also, we created a communication plan with our consultants. We asked them to inform us about the situation in some key moments. So, the PTO moments were coming to an end, and we didn't get any news from them. So we asked them to proactively send us messages or send us emails to try to get a gist of what's going on and when, if they have any end dates to come back to their homeland. So, and if the AC email doesn't work, we allowed consultants to use personal ones to send us messages. This is something that we needed to do on that regard. And also, we adopted special rules to manage unpaid time offs. In this case, we needed to. So they didn't come back. So we automatically gave them unpaid time offs, so they can be still on the AC board of consultants without any prejudice to their situation. So this one was also a very interesting one, because this is something that we needed to do with a limitation imposed by a foreign country that we didn't need, we didn't have with our clients nowadays. So this is how we face the situation. So with that in mind, let's go to the last case of the day, which was very challenging as well: supporting a consultant during the war. Okay, well, it's 2022. We're at the beginning of 2023. You know which war we're talking about. So here's the scenario. A key Avenue Code consultant is living in a country which is in the middle of a war and needs to update his equipment in order to better perform his activities with our clients. So there's no AC ops in this country, and we can travel to and he, the consultant, can travel to a neighbor country to get another one. Yeah, this one is the proves that we need to focus on the overall state of the world in order to solve problems. So in this case, what did we do? The first thing we did was approve stipend, so he can buy a new PC, a new equipment, and then he can replace his older one. Also, we got informed with the consultants about the available suppliers in his country. So here's the thing. The consultant told me that this is something that is very interesting in that regard. The consultant told me that the enemy was attacking his country's infrastructure. However, the borders were open for trading, especially from Chinese suppliers. So this draws some parallels with our second case, in which the media can be helpful in showing us info about the world and presenting us a big picture of the state of affairs, but can be a little bit misleading when you need to work with micro scenarios like this one, in which you are directly involved. So this is something that you always need to ask questions, and that's never a bad idea to try to be more informed about the state of affairs and never do pre-assumptions about the situation before you act accordingly. So with all that in mind, I presented 4 cases that, and probably you saw some common threads regarding each one of them. So with that in mind, let's go to the conclusions, and let's share with you guys some main lessons that I learned with these cases. The first one, as always, communication is the key. Sorry. When I started working with project management a couple of decades ago, one of my teachers said something very significant that became more truthful as I got more experience. When you need to manage people, 95% of the problems are communication related, and the remaining 5% are technical related. And all of these 4 cases I presented today were primarily solved with good communication. So, if you're gonna take one single lesson from my presentation today, I know it's Friday, it's lunchtime for most of the Brazilian people here that have a new code. Probably most of you have the cameras turned off because you're having a lunchtime while I'm talking. Please pay attention to this one. I just want you to share this unique lesson. Practice your empathy, reduce noises, be the most clear as you can, turn on your cameras during meetings, and so on. Communication really is the key. I know you're not gonna nail all these lessons all the time, but at least your chances of being successful in managing people will increase significantly if you remember this. So, other lesson learned. Practice your resilience and by having an open mindset. You know, the world was always a complex place to live, and this became more evident today as it was in the past, since we have social media, we have all the communications made much more easier and more instantly than in the past. So you need to be receptive to new situations and be curious about what you can do to solve these issues, which is related to the next lesson learned. Don't be afraid to asking questions. Remember, you don't know everything. So be humble about this. Ask what you don't know, and everybody will try to help you the best way I can. Especially because the last lesson learned here is get help from Avenue Coders is always a nice thing here. The best thing about working at Avenue Code is that everybody here is open to teach you something new. And if you're dealing with hard or unexpected situations, it's nice to know that people here always get your back and try to help you. And let's face it, I wouldn't be able to solve any of these cases I presented today if it wasn't for the wonderful team that got my back. Man, the CS team was wonderful. The legal team was very helpful in that regard, and so on and so forth. The HR team, everybody here tried to help me, and it's all thanks to this creative and very skillful team that, with all these talented people that I was able to go to the other side with a certain degree of success. So I'd like to finish this by extending this humble attitude to all Avenue Code consultants from all over the world. If you guys need any help, count with us, Delivery Ambassadors, to support you along the way. As with the ACE, count with the other very skilled and competent teams here at Avenue Code to do our job. So that's basically it. And I really wish you guys that we can help each other, got your backs, and go to 2023 and beyond in the best way possible. So that's basically it. I try to do this the most straight to the point as possible, so you guys can ask questions. So I believe we get 11-10 minutes of conversation, so you guys can ask questions or punctuate some cases. I want to hear from you guys. So thank you so much.